你继续。I'm gonna say the prayer on page number 10. In English, on page number 11, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. From now until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merely creating this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from joyful bliss. May all sentient feel bias, attachment, and anger. This ground allowed to be perfumed, strewn with flowers, Mount Meru, encircled by the four continents, surmounted by the sun, by this Buddha field and offering. May all idam kameyadaya. Okay, now we will say the Tara, we will recite the Tara mantra, and during the recitations, you can silently recite the mantra and also practice meditation. Om so ye chala om dare de so om dare de so dare de so om 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 dare de 어쨌든 전에 그렇습니다. The cover. Hello?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
No. 이쁘거든.
Yeah.
야, 다 때랑 때 잘라 균치는 거지라. 엄마
No.
맞죠? 그렇게 சொல்라. 저거 때 균치는 줄 알았어.
Okay. Good morning. I apologize. Today we have a internet connection problem. So got a delay. Sorry about that.
야, 딱 가정 때 뭐시기 때랑 마중 측이면 가정 동네 때 놀디 집던 시기인지라. 아니. 직동 가랑도 다 가랑도 직전 디가 기용을 써 가랑도 스타친 보도 nga 스타친 보도. nga 스타친 보도 거요르즈니. 자에나 가랑도 대진 라우슨 저기스가 고말. 다잔 손나 발리 이 섬고 될라파. 디능 나때 초점 될라 딱비 망좀 잡고 잡으라. 근데 링을 있은 거 너네 조대 샘차다요. 샘도 원전 로신의 샘그 강나 그롱로 공 잠비 이때 리기 남저 등갑도 조팔리 바토용 거. 어때 차다 아니 샤와 칸터 칸더나 당보 샘나 트렌지 잠비 차대 에는 가네 바 조조지 차대 에는 샬롱 라렌 달용으로서 아니 지금 직전 담치들이 좀 직접 당로 되지래. 된저당 아주 샘세한테 간다지서 샘세한테 그런 배 잔이 손 샘대 사릭거랑진 지들 아주 용의 주바즈마도 잔이 손 샘들지 텐터지 요말 데이터 샘델라양 치용으로 샘 랑진지 샘 그런 거 랑진지 어디 안에 좀이 라면 막기와 시디지다 양 텔라티네 로로위 드마지니다 샘 텔리 숑위네 얌수능나 랍낭진지니 고 숑위다니 단 도착셔당 덤글라스 바텐 뭐지 초대버려 대저당 아랑도 참아 샘비 피닝 아주 상말로 직송거 대화도 받던 등에 뭐도 빠를 때 이나 다 대화도 좀 때문에 그런 대화를 하든 좀 이제 소소고 노바데 대화도 거다 대화 죽던 마시지니 등을 좀 용거 등을 조용거 대저다 아니 다 아주 다다 대지 배트로 지니 같이 티승고 수시에 조가를 지고 아주 샘들에 일치던 게 있어요 샘들에 일치던 샘들에 일치던 거 가르 일치던 거는 샘들에 아니 랑비 차다 말랑비 차니요래 아니 말랑비 차때 마릭비 온송 차 도차당 셔당라서 바리 텔라테네 아니 다 차도 당 데섬라서 뭔가 좀 어떤 상도 텔라테네 디지스당나 딜링가 있음 거 샤와라테네 랑진 탐질 데킬마 용와 딩리 용와 잠시오 용와 뭐떻게 온 거래 아니 디 도쇼거니 샴당 형지 셔블라 소비 차지요래 디 지스 당라이나 디 셀리 동원도 정설 링을 있음 거 샤와 같은 거 지나 아니 영덕바 선수소바 랑지바 전 판바 된게 차지용 그래서 대저 디쇼트 야르기 단계에서 어떤 디나 아주 소중지사로 된지 지내 시기 요래 뜻성이 개발지 그래서
Today I'm not going to discuss about the text or make a commenting on the commentary on the textbook, but rather I'd like to elaborate on the very point discussed in previous occasion, how to train our mind in this particular the topic, and so the training that to recognize that at what point we got wrong, and then caused all the miseries. And when we ask this question and try to find the answer, basically we all have this innate sense of I, and on the top of that, so what do we made things are so wrong is because we have we hold this sense of I so dearly and so importantly, and made it a great deal of it. So then we attach to it, and we cherished it, and so sort of obsessed to this sense of I, and the exaggeration, with a great exaggeration. The very dear, or the very, really, what does that mean? If you ask this, again, ask this question, try to find answer, the rational answer is that, or the thing you will get about who that I is, in fact, only the three things, or this I is involved with the three components. One is your body, and that is your verbal speech, and then your mind. So our very I is the component, or in other words, their I is formed by, or is created by these three elements: speech and the mind. So, which means, and so the very I, the component, the building block of I is those three things. I is just a designation of that very assembly. That was established of established on the basis of those three elements: body, speech, and mind. And we know the mind, crucial rule. Our mind is the key component. Why it is so? Because among the three things, mind is empowering, or is authorizing, is dominating, is dictating our every the thing. Why? Because see, when mind the functioned or began to take any form of mental activity, will be at a physical level. So then bodily, you can see that the things that were taking place, and then the mind will the very inner or mental activity were transformed into verbal level, which means that you will begin to hear the expressions or the words, something that become you can hear. So that's our mind is the sort of a planner. All this bodily action or behavior and verbal action, verbal activities. for that reason, and so anything that's occurring in mind, then the manifested at the level. So therefore, we have to very close attention to the very functionality and characteristic, and the most importantly, the nature of them. In other words, we need to ask a question: what is mind? So you try to answer this question of mind from Buddhist literature, Buddhist sacred. The mind is involved with all kinds of levels of functionality and also mind. But we are focused on the. So, what is what is nature of the mind? The nature of the mind essentially is peace, awareness, and it's primordially pure. However, because of advantageous development, or because of those conditions, the secondary influential factors, so then the mind is again under the influence of this all of a sudden it's become so confused and then diluted, and then all the defaults and they began taking place. So the good example is like waves of the ocean. Essentially, if you look without any external sort of conditions such as and the full moon day, whatever, and then the ocean is generally calm and stable. But because of the winds and because of the other external conditions, then what ocean will begin to acting, they could be acting very violently. So that same thing, even though nature is pure and aware, bliss and peace. But as long as there's advantage, negative conditions, then it will trigger all those impure and experientially. So anyway, and we see all these things, and this all this fact and the reality. Then we know that we all are want to be happy, and we all do not want suffering. And however, just like the Shantideva in Bodhisattva's way of guidance, way of life, said, sentient beings are, even though they want to be happy, due to the ignorance, they destroy their own very happiness. So the point is made by Shen Diva is clear. Even though we intend to be happy, seeking for happiness, our very ignorance, misperceptions, actually acting like the enemy, our very own enemy, who destroy our own happiness. So, therefore, it is very important for us to think why we are gathered here, why we want to study such an important sacred writing of Buddhism, right? The textbook, the one we are learning, why we want to learn it, study about it. So we got to ask this question, and then we have to know what is our purpose of this kind of learning. Our purpose of the learning is to transform our mind, or to purify our mind. Even you can simply just say to change our basic mind setting or the attitude. So the possibility for the change our mind or mind setting, purify our mind, is very hopeful, because when you look at the mind, our mind essentially has two dimensions. The positive represented by all the positive qualities. Another dimension is represented by all the negative qualities. So therefore, we need to monitoring our mind, our mental activity, by focus on all the positive dimensions or aspects of the mind, and to cultivate those qualities. And we know that if we do not do so, do not positive aspects of all the qualities of the mind, we will fall to the traps of the negative aspect of the mind, or mental quality. And then consequently, the negative aspect of the mind will create all kinds of troubles, all kinds of disturbing sufferings, bring the sufferings to us. So therefore, we have no choice but to, in order to achieve our very goal of happiness, in this particular context, of course, it's not just for ourselves and for others. In order to have a peace and in our mind, and also make others happy and joyful, and we do need to cultivate by recognize the positive aspect of our mind, and then cultivate it at the same time, and through that way, to eliminate all the negative aspects of the mind, or qualities of mind. So I think this way, and by understanding the functionality of our mind, the nature of our mind, or the rules that our mind play, then we can definitely, and this is the reason why we are.
Nordi conversations Lotte Denny Longla Jobersha, Shison, Donle Ni Shang, Donle Ni Shangwi, Chena Rangi, Longshe Nagoni Luici, Li, Longshu, Disumki, Gesa, Namki Tatki, Semchin Tamchilla, Dangways, Deta Tamchil, sakpa bi dewa thati tang dambar samshang long nang tu ngalwi chi thamsum ji simchin thamchi ki ye genjong jew digdin thamchil rangi nyong nang tu langte de tang thamchin maliwa tang tawar samo terter komna long jigpa chigpi long sim jigpa chigpi sem mayang shang janshi tang dambar top chior ngero otto chinan terang to
So, apparently I mistranslated the Geshe-la at the beginning. Okay. So here we're going to read the textbook on 78. And then on the 70, page 7, it says these two ride on the break. 들어보라. 동안이 들어라.
오늘 놀디 드신다. 동고는 같이 길롱차.
Or we read this, and maybe in the next video, next one. The practice to be followed. Yes, this is the practice to be followed in the period.
놀디 드세요. 가장 아까 그 롱 차르즈 타마타마들. 가장 롱 차르즈.
The practice to be followed in the period after and no, this is not. I beg your pardon. Okay, there are many technical. I'm having trouble this morning. They might have lost that, but they didn't know. The two right, don't need both in the word. And they in Jirico, they need budget or seven. You see the carton of pay or Jiro. Imagine Lord, then they want to put it. Doing on the don't know door did you go to show us when the door did that city. Wow, yeah. Let me try again. Maybe this thing, I'm confused. These two should be made to ride on the break. When we have a custom trainings of the proceeding as you exhale, imagine that you are giving your body possessions and the virtues of the 3 times to all sentient beings and the sky, and that they thereby obtain ultimate and uncontaminated bliss. As you inhale, you should imagine you are taking into your of every being in the 3 realms as their causes, and that they are thereby completely free from all misery and its causes. Practicing in this way, the mind and the breath will flow in the same direction, so you will overcome distraction and strengthening mindfulness.
nga se de chana nga se de so chi go mar nga se de la ne wong jo do ka wong go na li yor long sho yor ti sim ji gyo yor o ti sim ji gyo de tham che ne solo so so rang ni la wong wi ta dewa jong sa ge je ro re ye cha ta de tham che ne li long chu gyo zhe dong ji yan la pu dang zhe yin ta jin ba le ro yor zhe yong so ne long pa dang so ne sim ji tham che la de li long chu gyo pu zo so dang这种真的，这说呢，当米其林是干嘛吧呢？那甚至他们知道呢，很多年呢，李龙说的，第三个活动就他们去爬，当你得了点别呢，爬出去了， 대화 잡을지 송 섬진이 노노 섬진 근데 스스로 뭐 얼소 각기 비슷지 탐지기지 능을 탐지 서로 살아서서 레송 섬네 아니 능은 남나 저러다 릴라테니 나찰라 소바네 세마키 능을 소바디 롱수고 풍화로 소바데 능을 먹보죠 또 탐지 그 능을 탐지 섬지름 지전니 저송스 전디서 소소고나 파레 세송 의스라 나한테도 심지 탐지 능을 다 저송냐 그래서 아니 파 땅에 심지 대화당 단송 서비 삼로도 샴바로 तर सरा थेने उन समझ तमज दिंग ता सो समझ समलो ते यांजी ते जदा शम ता यांजी पेमर गोम जिसो त फा ता सो समझ ते देवा ता सो समझ समलो सरा थे तो समझ दिंग ता सो समझ समलो ता तो इयो फा तो सदा जो ती खाते तेला शम यांजी न्यू ते पेमर जिनी गोम तो कोदा ते जदा ते गोम योसो शम ता यांजी न्यू ते रबी गोम योसो 영어 코스 섬다와 심지 담지 능은 서라 태용은 마빠 쇼지 무조바 용스면 근데 요 말때 가정 시에 나지 파쇼 때라 뭐 시위 강을 지거나 저런 거 소소 때라 파 전에 hom종로 전 남도시나 파쇼 때기 강을 세송나 나서 졸라 강을 무슨 가용 거 말. 손주 섬지 강을 서라 소소그 니와가 때 파쇼라 니와 데키트 때용서 소소그 능을 섬지 니와 띠톱기 파쇼고 능을 따라서 셀용서 소소스라 소소 렌당하다 어떤데 삼로 땅에나 때 럼지나 아니 가서 우트 치수기 잡질라 야마 땅거로 그 영화도 떠남데 아니 샴당향지 삼로드기 마노라치네 가티나 땅 토와이나 때트로 곰나지네 샘나 삼로도 영세 곰지나 때 곰비도로 때또 곰이오나 가려주나 롱섬 지바식 비스다 롱동 샘뉴트페 냠데 지고레스 롱파 땅아도 샘파안도 롱스라도 냠도 샘스라 양지 그 섬길라기 파 롱파 땅아도 샴바가 섬 길라기 때 저도 롱섬 뉴 때라테네 롱 판지 선지길라테네 샴양지 뉴 때르비 고명도 다 샘마영상 잠바 템보 톱 치울 기로 스티저 tel라 삼노 당자 아니 샘나 건장 먼저 차당 길 건장 먼저 등을 데비 삼노 잡아 콜고 말해 샘마야 어때 샘 템보 창으로 아니 tel라테네 아니 잠바 당 시즌 잠바 카르 잠바나 어다 샘지가 따다 있나가 롱섬 지베테나 샘냥지 공군도 샘나 마지라 잠바와지네 시즌 세드 데데도 당 샘다 당 네게 공군도 공군도 다 토탈 동시에 들어와 다시 요때 공비 톱 지용서 톱 첨불지로 다네 샘냥지 데라 톱 첨불 그래 스티츠다 샘지 담지 근jel지 능을 당절 대화당 대모서 샘지 담지 근jel라 탐지다 대화당 능을 장으로서 런진 섬지 탐지 뛰는나 마티아 말레가 상시 요 말와 어떻게 정도서 이롱간 탐질라 대화당 아주 정말 내기로 이롱 탐질라 등을 당다는 알아서 주부들이 내기 지금 토고 요 말와 어떻게 나한테 삼로고 삼비 그런 일단 치도당 아주 다들 니와로 거든 섬지 탐지 등을 세트와 니와 때다 소소도 요 말때 등을 렌트 주고 대화 주고 니와 때 뭔지 요 말와 요 말때 얘나 소소 때 삼로 땅이 샘기 지나 샘냥지도 곰나 디 니위 톱기 소소 샘당냥지 공패때 용 샘당냥지 공패때 용 진짜 공패 용나 디 저때 소소 랑닝 년들로 요 베랑니 그 텔라 요 베지 다 능미라 소바테니 파지 침체라 소바테 탐질라 샤와칸탄지 티저 론로 갈지고 디샴냥지 디톱기 코런 거네 레라오제니 지트고 나서 소소랑 것도 깔리 잡도 거야 어때 나지 소소절 샴당냥지 셉도 톱치고 쳔고 젠지도 깔리까지 잡고는데 알와요 말 그래서 텔은 넘바요라 진짜 롱치고선 삼루 넘바 띠 장외에 존지 기용 존지 띠지 경우서 샤와 강당강지 날랍친 득고요 대차다 안에 된지 이제라 기용서다 르베네 지금 샴냥지 띠톱지 심지 탐지기 땅 원부서 상이긴 세 삼루 된지 샹스 샘데를 통특고요 로 공패 땅땅로 되는데 대차다 가로 제동 샘나 지금 막길와로 공도 땅 차당 경우서 람성도 샘나 제와지 의텔라 삼루 땅 의동는지 되네 안에 되지 더에는 카드 냠부로 펜도 용으로 진짜라 카일로 펜도를 등이 상고요시
Yes, based on what we have just read now, the essential is technically about the inhalation and the exhalation is a form of eyes. But we're going to integrate a spiritual practice, and then so instead of just let's do sort of random and the technical or natural sort of process of breathe in, breathe out, we transform this very natural life phenomena into a very meaningful spiritual practice. That is, by thinking while you are breathing in, so taking all the sentient beings and the sufferings that they experienced, the sufferings are the sentient beings, and while exhalating, then thinking that all the virtuous qualities and good things and you're going to away. Well, so what we talked about earlier, this taking and giving or donglan, the practice is that is the I am going to practice it. But then what is that I, right? You need to think about it. Then while you practice, this is the donglan practice, and you need to integrate, you need to the exercise this very practice based upon the clear understanding of the I, or the nature of the what you call the claim, the I. Speaking, and so we say I, and you are talking about not just you as an individual, but you have something, right? You own something, and you have some kind of authority. You are in some kind of authority, or you are in position where you can authorize something. Okay, so at this particular context, what you can authorize, or you can use, you own, right? You're entitled to is they're only actually your body, and then others are everything that you possessing, or so your body and the things which you have. Body, of course, is obviously in your physical body, and then other things that you possessing. So that's including all your the ability, the skills, and the knowledge, and anything you own or you possess, material like wealth and so the money and even including the virtuous action that you have ever accumulated in the past, and so all those things are your body and wealth, your fame, and the virtuous merits. All these are, conventionally speaking, again, is the foundations of your well-being, is the sources of your happiness, right? So those are the things you are in the position you can authorize, or you can make it an independent decision and to decide to give or keep it. So for this very practice, of course, we are practicing Donglan. Dong is the giving. So now let's start on a clear understanding that you do have such a thing and you are authorized to give. So now you are going to exercise this giving practice right? When you practice giving, again, you're not just giving to one individual, a particular few group of individuals, but you're giving to all sentient beings, right? Everyone, without exception, equally, right? And so you do this by follow the process of the exhalation of the breath, right? The breath is out. So now you imagine that you're giving everything out. Now, anything that you own and you're possessed, so you are giving away. And so, and then when you are inhalating, right? Now is the term you kind of switch to the mode of your exercise. Now is taking, right? Is lemba. Before dong is the giving. Now is the len is taking. So the way you are taking is this. So now you are imagining and you are thinking, and or rather you are based upon the clear understanding of the all kinds of sufferings that the sentient beings are experiencing. So take a clear sort of a picture of that scenario, and scenario of all sentient beings suffering, and then taking while you are inhalating and taking all this into upon to you into your towards you. So this exercise of Dongba meaning giving and the Lemba is the taking. Basically, when you are the essence of this Donglan or the giving and taking. When you look at from a different perspective, see what you are really doing here, what's going on, indeed, you will see your very practice of the Donglan or the taking, giving and taking, essentially your practice two fundamental the spiritual qualities of Mahayana, that is kindness and compassion. Exhalation in this at this point. So your exhalation is not a merely exhalation of breathe out. Rather, so by thinking that you giving all you have, right, to benefit others, and you are developing and you are cultivating and generating the great compassion within you. Why? Because the essence of the very characteristic of the kindness is bring the joy and give the happiness to others. Wish others can endure with happiness. So that's the essence of the key characteristic of features of the compassion. The kindness. Similarly, when you inhalate and taking, so now you the agonies, right, sorrows, the sufferings, and of all sentient beings, and you take him or invite him with the breath. This way, and even though it's kind of you are doing some kind of the essence of this in the practice is actually great compassion. Why is it great compassion? It's because characteristic of from the suffering. make others be able to free from the suffering, separate the suffering and suffering. That is very essence or the key. So now you are doing this. Enter this sort through the take a turn, right? So in turn, and you take a turn. That's when you break out. You're practicing or cultivating the kindness. When you break in, you are steady, right? And this is the way. This is the training we are trying to accomplish. Really do any harm is benefits. Right? You receive all kinds of benefits. It doesn't hurt you. It's like I commented on last Sunday that the example share your skills, your knowledge, right? With your students, when you give it to your students and whatever you know, right? It doesn't really make you lose anything, but rather it's increasing. And however, you get which doesn't hurt you, but for others, it could be a great deal of a benefit. The knowledge which you taught them, right, and transmit it, or you be able to transform to your students, and then now they are the ones who can take the advantage knowledge you gave to them. Now they can do the things themselves, and they can fix the obstacles they might incur. So this way, you just gave and transmitted, right, taught something without hurt you. Great benefit for your students. So this practice is kind of a very simple, down without making a great deal of effort. The inhalation, the process of exhalation, inhalation is 24/7, right? You do this anyway in all time, right? But without it integrated into such a great practice, then there's no any spiritual value. So now you are, based on the understandings and the clear understanding of the importance of this training, then within 24/7, and the all time, or at least whenever you can remember, or you can think of, you can immediately natural process of inhalation and exhalation, and use them as a powerful spiritual, and to increasing your power and indeed, like the text mentioned, we do need to get used to this. In fact, accustomed, once you get used to it, accustomed to a familiar and master this special skill, and accustomed, get used to it, and get familiar. The technique, in fact, is a meditation practice. So we said meditation, or we are practice meditation. Fundamentally, what you are saying is, I'm trying to get used to it. I'm trying to get familiar with it. I'm trying to, I'm doing the things. So I'm going. There's a very technical skill. So that is the meditation. And then the very important thing that we needed to remember is that this practice is so unique and so powerful is because the mind and the breath essentially, or wind essentially is a one entity. And there are sort of two aspects by the joined very harmoniously and in the one single sort of stream, right? When you breathe in, yes, there's a breathe in, and there's a mind and wind or the breath and perfectly and joined in it blended. So now you need to understand this, and then so carefully and mindfully and meditate and the very essence of the practice means compassion and kindness, kindness and compassion. So we do need this mind, wind, and join the ride, right? And so and then ride on it. So the way to make a successful and perfect riding of this mind and blind, the wind blinded, and then and use as to our to perfect our practice, and that we do must depend upon two very critical the technique. One technique is mindfulness, and we know that how important the mindfulness. So mindfulness is always be mind of what's going on and what you are doing. In this particular context, of course, once you set your mind onto that meditative state, right, and engaging in the object of your meditative, and your mind has to be fully aware of that very exercise, that very the practice itself, and at the same time, you need to do from time to time do some kind of a checking in or checking on thing. That is, you apply the second most important technique, that is the mental introspection or introspection itself. So, or awareness, sometimes they translate it. So you need to be aware of how well and whether you are still remember, right? Still doing the same thing very attentively of recollection, right? And working on the very objectives. So yes, the mindfulness and the mental introspection has to be there and to sustain and to make your practice stronger and then to reach its full and fullness, its full capacity. So the point is again, and this make others be able to endorse with happiness, and then another is free others from all the suffering. And we do have this and actually tendency, we do this as a natural, our natural inclination anyway, because we just generally the exercise is we even make a great effort to make ourselves happy and in order to make ourselves free from the suffering, right? We do this anyway. But the only thing here we need to change or to switch the rule effort just for yourself and to suffering. Now we need to turn on and switch off, and so by the means of exchange to make the others to free from the sufferings. Practice and by the means of the ride on and the unique the life phenomena of breath in and out, and by transforming it into the kindness, compassion, and by supported by the mental introspection, and will definitely not only benefit ourselves, right, and definitely will also benefit your full dedication, full dedication would make you to very much appreciate about the joyful, and this joyful perseverance will further lead you to make a commitment and dedicate yourself to the ultimately to the practice of bodhicitta and the mind of enlightenment.
Oh yeah, that totally on the trot.
So now, if you have questions, and please, I'm open the floor to you for ask questions. So since I can't see anyone, please just say it and. So today, the translator who is invisible is formless.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Oh, cashier that is more yeah.
Oh yeah. Tambu teori gonda tama gisheri seuram chomoso. Tambu di tonon roa in niwa di jedam di niwa di kare di seu chikumaso. And then ni joa niwa di mazu sam zupu dang ke body chapchensu. Ye kare jine zupu dang ke cha chabariori. Ma chamazu zupu pejani ke sheyorwa. Inji gitara, nupshu gitara, zupu ta kirishya chikpara nazi dwa. Namchina kaijin kagaji yori. And then dewa tamade ngazu ki samba rangshinji samba zangu mi yabura mi tsula yabujagi nobody ona. Kaijin nupshu gitara to manchewa matsu my rangshinji susu matosal daya shiga yore any matsu chunshun di lega ya tena lega dua lila jantuba di kumshiori ori diosumre nyajisha wani nyajisha go injina shani asure
인지나 셨다는 그 소모 고기라 니다 고소 소마 고소 다 알라기나
So
처럼 쏟은
I have 3 questions. So my first question was just a clarification on the second point. The second technique, if the first technique was mindfulness, or so what was the second one? Because I couldn't tell the difference between mindfulness and mental introspection. And then my second question was that why is speech different than body? Because in like Western thought, we often say like, oh, your 5 senses by speaking, listening, blah, blah. So it's all included under body. So why is it separate in Buddhism? And then my third question was, if we are by nature and kind, right, then how come a lot of, I'm in school, I'm learning like social theory right now. So a lot of these Western and social theorists believe, oh, people are inherently bad. Like we're selfish and we learn bad things easily, we're self-interested. So like in that case, like why do we learn things that are negative more easily than positive traits?
당보 등이 되게 고마송더라. 좋아 당보.
the Jamba the Xijin's the mindfulness spectrum, 이게 chapter discovery 가르쳐줘.
뜻을 보더라.
이 technique niche the introspection mindful chapter 요래 집발
that's cool.
잠바세야 돼. 네. 내가로 가르치는 교랑 샘나한테 맞을라 지대대. 시즌세야 돼. 샘 그때 지금 되면 누구세 동부적으로 지긴 자시지 걸어. 때랑 애들 홈조지 삼루 땅리는 삼루 땅사대 맞아 제대 잼바래. 당보지 하고 하진 하고 유 샘네 맞을라 제대 잼바래. 잼바티 영 잼바티 잡로 영 당게 줘대 시즌에. 티 지금도 지금도 잼바 코로나 따다 샘나 자유도 쟁인데 만들 삼 당게 시즌에. 배나 미치기나 미치기 내가 지금 당근데 시즌으로. 자시지로. 들라네. 모르는 것도
Yes, so regarding about the two techniques, that is mindfulness and mental introspection, whether they are same or not, and they are not the same, they're different. The first one is the mindfulness, is recollection or remembrance. Memorization, and you can translate the Japa in various ways, but basically is to be noting or knowing. So that's the essence of the Jamba. So meaning that you decide you want to do something, right? And then once you set out that plan, or you made a decision, and then you focus on that very the decision, and take the action and to execute that very decision, or whatever the decision is, the project or the outcome is represented by that decision. So that's the awareness or the mindfulness. And then the second aspect or the technique is mental introspection. Mental introspection is the sort of checking, play the role of checking on whether you are stick onto or you are stay on the top of what you are doing or not. Right? So let me put it in a different way. Jamba, or the mental introspection or recollection, whatever you called, you have set up a goal, the goal, right? So that's very objective. The object or the goal, the object of or the goals you try to achieve, that remember, make your mind a goal, the very outcome, right? And once you set this connection for your mind, between your mind and the very goal, and then never let anything interrupting or interference, right? Broken that very connection, the outcome and the activities which lead you to achieve that goal. That is the functions of Jamba, or the recollection, or the mindfulness. And decision in this context, and if I give you a simple example, is that, for example, there's two people who are working on the same project, right? Or involved with one project. There are two guys who are involved with one project, a particular project. So first, the guy who is executing the physical level, who is physically take action and doing the things to try to finish that project at the physical level. Okay, so that is the very worker, the physical level, the person who is working on, right, and without stopping, and so without it distracting, that is very physical. A person who doing the physical level is like the mindfulness, which is doing the things. But this guy, however, is being watched by somebody else, the second person. You can say his master or his supervisor or his co-worker, whoever. So someone who is examining, checking on, watch over, sort of overseeing that very activities of a person's physical label and activity is that rule is the mental introspection.
다 링을 있음들 로아로와 가족들 까지나 그런 섬노당다 리세든 아주 단다 그 지 링을 있으면 단다 되는 아주들 소도 디능라 아니 아클과 그 나왔듯 셴니들 섬진 탐지 돈시 탑고 리들 랩트요 말아 링을 있으면 리땅 셈 리땅 아니 찍과이나 내 나랩서들 단다고 리랩 생각 말아 어때잖아 링을 있으면 등하고 mungkin cepung chumzo orso liki din nambas ngaka nambas jitang na kan iki namsa bo jiso ale liki gone ane songcho ko yongore mashim bra kama ja te yongore ane lokor imba ti lida tendi chonggo yore ngaka gone zenshe gone thama mi parula tushang tanga tanga ane mi jablo la khatang ta jene kachamong shede do ngachero ngacheda ane 전 타마스 ngachil rete jichigore ne yigone nasum nosum loktaadine ta semgigone samnotangne samno pha no bakyago samjin rawna ani phashoti jalagtingi lenggo nga thobna samnote nosumro otte chama ane loktaasede mepala yopran zimbatin mi mongol tis tawati kheyone yimba chala mayimba chala yimbar zengorso te so tawati kheyone ne tawat manthban shi ngor te cha 되게 공경자 등아도 머기지 어디 링을 있음라 틈조인자 틈조서 틈 놓아서 틈 큰게 나고 샘난에 잠바이나 칸이 마시바이나 너니 파 카와 칸군이 셴나 너니 닷 마툼바이나 너들 다킨 다발리 중에 롱리 중에 다지로 다텔라 테니 양니샤오 다텔라 테니 파쇼 밀라 데드 소라테고요 데자니 너세데 데 저다 다텔라 테니 솔직히 대화치고 링었던 대화치 받던 녀다 먹고 ngala teni chonggo orsidana 링리 있음도 다 다르지 이나 잔이 송나 링리 있음부터 강내 강 리데 강 나가래 근데 일 강리 잔이 소 리리스니 십도 잔이 손이 좀 니트고 말 정말 찌찌라 땐때니 용화 때니 삼라 때니 아니 리드파 드팅고 파미 크트라 때니 좀 리디야 예용소 tellateni 제tam고 나라서 바좀 tellateni 아니 지듯이 삼노 동동 라피는 샤와치용도 너가 담네니 다 동부 섬나 옥차장으로서 다 치고던데 소수 섬나 강아시 점바트 칸이마 샤니 파쇼다 라트고요. 된자당 아주 밀라 찌던 삼노도는 미게 ዝ보다 하창가 니와 침보지 양 참보지 요르다. 어떤지 이나 통도 식발을 해서 식발 말이. 나 식발 말은 소소니 데데르지 베티 차번도 데데 치아마토 전베 딱돈 전에 손나 리세트 강어즈네. 고리레 lokpalire 참말리나 리 몽보쇼 차로. 리 tamayo se kamaro li chigirwa li chigbote kangrezine sona li chigbo detazni sona lakpani semoni zonte ma zane sona te li se te yet ko ma en to daran ngot to longtang chicken dapali sona dach ki chong tele te chi chong wa o sem se te sarik chachi sosu yong이 to baji ma sem derzine yo marta na long ro chigirda long to nang khanang ji te chigita inglo isem kapalo chitong te chigirisi
well, the body, speech, and mind essentially is they are not the same. They are three separate entities, and especially body and the speech are completely it's not the same. And the perfect example I can think of in this very moment is our translator is not here with us, and so we can't see him. But his voice is perfectly functions well and served the purpose of the translation and be able to make us to hear and convey the message of the Dharma and so doing the beneficial thing. And so you can see that his body is not appear to us. It's not here, and but his voice is doing all this kind of thing. So this shows that the body and the speech is not necessarily the kind of one entity, but rather it's from a functional entity. And then so that if we go back to Buddhist practice, discipline, the vows, and the Buddhist basic the commitments, like the 10 virtues and the 10 virtues non-action, and so that's a Vinaya, or the discipline, the rules. Again, it's based upon this the three divisions. Based on the consideration or understanding of body, speech, and mind are the three separate entities. So the 10 non-virtuous actions, abandon and never ever engaging is the designed because the body, the things which body can do, and the verbal and the which the only body can do, but not the can do, and but body and the mind is so. For example, like among the 10 non-virtuous actions that you're supposed to abandon, for example, killing. So killing is only the physical body and can execute it, right? And the sexual misconduct, again, is the physical body is engaged. And then the stealing, so, and again, it's the physical action, physical body. And then we move to the second training. This is the three, right? And the vows that the Buddhist has to practice. And then so then verbally, as a Buddhist, you needed to avoid the four that's executed and through the speech, meaning like the liar, the speech, harsh words, and then pointless speak. Okay? So the pointless speech, the speech, and the harsh words, and the divisive speech, and the liar. Those are the four non-virtuous actions, and only executed through the expression. And like those three things we talked about, killings, stealings, and sexual misconduct. So similarly, the mental three non-virtuous actions, the mentally needed to abandon, is such like the wrong view. So wrong view is the view or the belief that the things are not there. For example, the baseless claim is that nothing there at all, but you believe, and then you actions as based on this baseless misview or misperception. That is a wrong view. Or another way is that there is the things are there, however you denial, and that's like annihilatism, right? And which also is a wrong view. And then the covetousness. So covetousness is that you want somebody, the things not belong to you, and you're not authorized, and you're not entitled to do it, but you want to have it. That's kind of form of greedy, and that's again only mind can do. The physical body and speech is not involved. And And then the harmful intention, which is the you sort of intended to do some very bad things to others, which is of course it's only in the mental level. As long as you not execute it right and express it and manifest it, you control it. You not let it take any action. It remain as a mental sort of exercise, a mental experience. Then you cannot say that's committed, right? It's a crime, but rather it's just a mental and experience. So there's a 10 Buddhist non-virtuous action and offsetly and 10 Buddhist virtuous action, and clearly tells you that each mind are separate. Now let's talk a little bit more about it. So speech part, even though it's that your body, it kind of is a bodily thing, but it's not really compared to. It's not the body itself, because the so word is the production of the mental plus the joint effort made by the town and the roof of your mouth. So formation sort of kicked in, and then the trigger the and send the command and the order. Then they made this town your town and the roof of your mouth, and in fact the other part of the mouth as well. So then there's sort of how you call it, sort of hit, right? Hit the each other. So sort of there's a wave and is it sort of a beat or hit up, hit and other part of the part in the mouth, and then create this sound, and that very sound, and then transformed or translated into a meaningful a word that carries a meaning. And yeah, in that sense, so it's the sound is the way it comes out from your mouth. Is again just a function that very unique, has its own unique way to become something we call words or speech. It's doing this separate thing. Having said that, right? And if you go with sort of examine the ultimate relation between the and the analysis and very adopted the critical analysis and to examine and the existence or the very ontology of the speech of body and mind, and you will reach the point where the Buddhism will say that they end up with you cannot objectively find that speech, and also you can even kind of find the mind itself, right? And you can find them only from conventional the functional functionality. Again, that's part of the conventionality of the phenomena. So essentially, in the conventional, they are separated and entity, but ultimately, and you cannot really objectively identify or find the body, speech, and mind, and neither as one, nor as an absolute separate entity. So yes, like again, body. So we call the body seems one of independent object, and but if you apply the same critical analysis method And so, which is what do you mean by your body, right? And the head, your arms, your chest, and your legs, and your thighs, and the leg, and the foot, what it is, right? And even like hands, you say, oh, this is my hand, but what is your really hands, right? Do you mean your finger, right? If you say the finger, then there's a nail and the joints and so on and so forth. So is not unfindable. So, but they are functions, right? It is functioning. It's doing the on things like the electricity. We can't. We know the electricity is there because it is working.
그래. 근데 다 좋았음 바들이야. 좋았음 바들 저땅 안에 랑진 샘기 랑진 때 당상 사바 땅 안에 가이나 때 리로 때네 가르치니 때 깔레 하고 지도와 때네 때 서다 좋았더와 때 저지 땅 깔레 하고 가르쳐가지네 배낭 아주 칠라 빌레나 치 랑진 때 당상 써와지래 그런 걸 치모데 당상 써와지다 이나 치 요바조에 때 리로요 그런 촌 잠번 랍상 요바조도 요바조 사규도 정마조 배 깔레 하고 그러라 그때 뒤쪽 망고지 깔리 망고지 얼마 또 삼아 치고 말 때나진 샘기랑진 코란 시대 땅한테 당상섭에네 오사와치기나 샘지때 요바 차에서 요바도 셀라 배추치고요 배추치나 마도 세트고요 말 때네 땅 정말 셰르 그때 나도 샘기는 요바 셀라 조네 셰르기 내가 지고 시위 닐링모마티 강짜니 닐링모마티 시소나 샘기랑진 파셀로 대자다 nga chunchun di songna nangba sangi lemri korshazo o dipa sangna lamsang yilwa ki gars le law skin ro ne ani ji yawa so tagbe shang ro le law zo ki ma thwa tin di kali ya go de te tamu mar sam zo nga ra na te tamu mar tin di lega chunchina ma lamsang yilwa ro le law ne yo ya tagbe shang ro te pe kale kho te kali na te tamu mar ge te zura te jingi ni ma je gena te di condition te tamu mar se de gengi tin song te chino samno tangda se lega shawa yapo chigona pe kali jago kali jani pe khamba zogo na khamba to zoala pe chashi tangda ba te jipcha manga chante te chashi tangda ba chini ya langor lang kali kho yorse ani kyora de ma shigona le law yor min sami shi thap gurze manda tanu da gi na yong na shi ni daga chini chelo gorse te jane ya zoya te kali kho yore la pe cha zoya te kang dang kali khor ma me zoya pe le law yorse te song 되는 게 되는 거네 당대다 미치기나 배는 미치라 파 요거지 밑에 지 소소 쪽보서라 밑에 소소지 무슨 소비 차 망보즈 같은 지나마도 밑에서 같은 첨부 쓰기 말와 쪽보서라 다서라 그런 까지 지금 득자 찍지던 남성들이 다시 하는 어쨌든 득자 좋아도 레라워 아주 토만 컴퓨터부터 찍던 레라워 요거저한테 빼갈래 호 때차 안에 야고스데와라 고인일 시 텔라테는 배초지 소아치네 타면 리우트 정보 득자 젤라때 고기요 말 배에 상동답게 상동도 끼는 리우트 와라 대 칼리잡 사원답 칠르트니 야치네드니 리우트 고 또 매어도는 때 같이 진의 소리 겨누 쳤다는 또가 매어 차서 대자때 덴디지 그래 딱 아주 마르크 쇼트 가르치는 레라오 요하다 야르크 쇼트 가르치는 갈레 가보 요르스 때 고인이 당출했고
Oh yeah. So to answer the third question, and what I can think of is like the water. The analogy I would like to use is the water. So water in a pond, suppose in the pond, okay, in the scenario, in the setting of a pond. So you have water up there, and water under the normal circumstances, right? It's by its own nature, it's there, it's transparent and pure and clean and right. Everything is you can see through from the top to the bottom. However, this very water and under the particular circumstances, suppose for instance, like somebody come in or or other natural phenomena and occurrence if once it's taking place, and then what happens is that water will become contaminated, very and impure. So the next sense that you can see, and right, it's no longer that like it's supposed to be natural being. So this is the water itself is although by its very nature it's pure, but the mud and or other things and the trash, garbage, whatever they once they so had any encounter with those external phenomena, and that is particular circumstances, and then water is no longer remain in the table. It's not no longer as seen as pure as at the beginning, or it's normally being its original state of being, meaning that it's being pure, clean, transparent, and so it see through. Similarly, our mind and the nature primordially pure, and it's the flows free. It's is a non-contaminated. But under the circumstances, interference by the external, especially the advantageous the factor, the conditions, and such as the developments and distributions, then yes, all of a sudden it will become as pure, as clean as its primordial states. I know that to see this point is difficult, but this point and of state of being, or you to experientially perception, or direct experientially to have a direct experience, understanding, you do need, in other words, only wisdom. This point, meaning that you always see the purity or the primordial state of the non-condemning state of your mind, and so whenever that developments or the disturbing emotions arise, then your mind will from you experientially, and you will what you see is very is very negative and very disturbing and restless and very agitating, but not peaceful and not clean, not transparent, and not pure. And so I myself actually, this is a very difficult point, and I myself, when I back to the monastery in Tibet when I was in Iran, I had my thoughts and this kind of difficult question, and I questioned that. I had thought that when I heard that say to hell, the realm of hell, and experience a tremendous suffering, and then there's the infinite number or tremendous number of the beings who born in hell or fell into the realm of hell and experience suffering there. Only a few handful individual will be able to emerge or be able to then reborn in the Pure Land. And then I just thought that's not fair. It doesn't make sense. So particularly, I think that's not fair. Why it happened? Because this is absolutely uncompatible. The number. And then I brought this question to my teacher, asked him, I said, teacher, why is only few people who born in the or be able to emerge to the Pure Land, and but the vast majority and beings who born to hell. Then I said, this is not fair. He said, well, it is. If you look at this in such a way, and he said, we'll understand it easily. For instance, like in order to build up a building, right? You have to collect all the materials, right? And you have to engineering, you have to designing, and you have to put all the time, right? And build up piece by piece, right? And eventually you can complete the whole building. But to destroy it, right? And it takes a long process to build up and a magnificent building or just a building. But to destroy it can be very simple process. It can be quickly and in a very short period of time, you can completely destroy the building that took a long time to build a building. So even the very magnificent, beautiful building you build up, you don't necessarily need a human to destroy it. The other animals, right? They even come in can destroy the beautiful buildings that you took you a long time to build up. So therefore, he says that from this example, you can see that the virtuous action is very difficult to commit it, and or it's very difficult to commit to the virtuous action and to perfect them, but to destroy and to engage in the non-virtuous action and to destroy the very virtuous action you have committed, accomplished, actually is very easy. So there's also in other words, we can make it simple. For example, the good things are hard and to establish good qualities, and the bad things can be easily taking place. One of our experiences is this. So we all need want to form a relationship, good relationship, have a friend in our life, right? But imagine if you have no unique quality and a unique, wonderful personality, skills, and something that really makes you looks very impressive and favorable, and makes you looks greater, very valuable. A person has greater value, greater quality, and then people in generally would not want to be your friends, right? So to build up this your wonderful personality and wonderful skills, right? And so form yes, everything's impressive and has great quality. We know it takes a great deal of time, right? And on the other hand, by contrast, so even you made a friend for a long time, right? And so it took you a long time to build a friendship, but to destroy the very long relationship of friendship with your friends can be, take nothing, no great effort at all. It's just one empty word. One word could easily destroy the long-term relationship that you build up your friends. You can make your friends by one word, and from friends you can turn them into your enemy. So this also tells that the good qualities is hard to build up and but easy to destroy, and the negative qualities and tendencies are is hard to overcome. So example also is like a tree. So you have the in order to make a tree, right, and grow up and then produce the fruits. First of all, you have to find the proper seeds, and then you need to watch over, right, and to sustain, nurturing the tree, and make sure that it grow up properly, and finally produce the fruits. But if you want to destroy that huge, very beautiful tree, and it only takes you few moments with the chainsaw, just go there and then cut off, and it fell down to the ground. So yeah, that's the thing.
야, 다임 되게 내가도 오늘 뭐 놀러 지속에 렌터
Yeah.
그러는 것이다.
So yeah, let's just end off with today's discussion here, and I'm not sure whether I'll be able to answer the questions. But let's just say the prayers now.
Nyambudoya yamana akunga chukunyenge.
라,
Nyambudona yasira yamana akunga chukunyendeni.
돈받아야 되네.
Hmm.
너만 냠대 돈나 냠대 가서 참은 이번에 그저 미 같이 끼 야거든. 다 잡으면 돼요. 냠대 돈.
To the truth, mute jadan churan de dona de gore ke me ga san de dona de wa akunga gila yona bi ya bolo.
야. Ba cho la ji jo zhe 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 la zo ma de yi te de nan ji da de zhou xi zhang zhao xi yang zuo xiu gen jiang jie ji hu de zang yi lama mo xie de ge nian ge ba mi dang xi la ga zhen chen bu gu ne ji zong de gu song tu ji mi zhe za de su sen chou ren bo xi ma ji ba ne ji ji jie wa nian ba me ber yang gong ni gong de pe wer shou gang re ra wei gu wei shang gang de pan dang de wa ma li yong wei ni我等着杨作业，下辈生的把的等日记，要不把我这的人钱把当，跟着上不这样的人的，得到根据就是道路上，给我的到他们这让的我。第什么下辈叫我他们这些，我刚刚抽的我把的，到人因为早晚的跟上，上不就是让的我儿子，盘点用的担把带上也，但人给我他们这跟上。你见跟老的人用的你上一担保到的一日记，在这跟的要我中高位，当初是你们没选择，要为我被浪上的你里，可去怎样多本忙劲儿。啊，可以啊，那咱们这是的嘞。
Dimane.
Thank you for the wonderful questions, by the way. They were really nice to help clarify things. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sorry if some of this was repetitive for you guys. I think from a cultural perspective it's familiar, but from a philosophical perspective it's very new. So.
One of the things that I've always liked is sometimes what happens is when we have a community that's been doing it for a long time, we have a certain way of looking at it. But then when we have someone new with a new perspective asking questions, it casts light on some of the things that we maybe haven't really fully settled or explored. So this is really kind of nice, actually. The new perspective allows good questions to come in, actually. So thank you.
Thank you for thinking that way.
I still can't find the book. I tried to order it on Amazon. I tried to get it used, but I guess they didn't have it anymore. So they don't sell the book there. Like maybe once the virus clears up and they open up again, they have the book for sale at the.
I don't think they'll have the book for sale, but once the virus clears up, they have the copy of the book for when you go to the center and read with it. You can always use the book there actually.
Okay.
Because they just have them available.
It's like out of print. I guess my video's not working either. Somebody that tried to turn my camera on. Anyway, I tried to get it on Amazon. It's out of print. There was one copy that was available for like $12, but then the other ones were like $30. I tried to get the $12 one, but it said I got refunded, so I guess it was out. So I'll just keep hunting for it. That's all I had. Thanks.
Okay. Everybody have a good day.
Yeah. Bye, Bob.
You too. Hey, Stacy, what's going on for LOSAR next weekend?
I haven't heard. I'll probably hear tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
LOSAR.
Hey, Tenpa.
Hey.
We're talking about LOSAR.
Oh, LOSAR. LOSAR. We first day we'll do
It's 12 o'clock.
Smoke puja. We'll do smoke puja.